Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US stocks for the 24th of September. So we've got about 7 stocks to get through here today, and then we've got one more video after this, and then we've completed the 130 stocks. So now that I've sort of labeled most of them and done all the text and so on for that, so probably next week we can start looking at probably doing 2 videos a day, and then also starting to look for trades as well. So those trades will populate in the Trading Lounge site under the trades page. Here we go. So Trade Desk. So this is a technology software platform basically designed for advertising campaigns across various formats and devices and so on. So obviously a powerful application because it's taken out the COVID tops here and has exceeded this nice exceeded the old highs here. So we can see that, with trends, markets are just trends and corrections of different degrees. We can see, though, that each trend has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And we can say that, well, obviously, this is the beginning here, this is the middle here. And we're kind of coming into the ending sort of process here with this, because we can see that we're getting, and also two things grow in size as well. We use the trading levels, which is a price, which is Fibonacci, is a price ratio on the side here. So we can get that 61.8% growth out of just simply using the price here. What I mean by that is that as the market moves higher, the corrections will obviously look bigger, as well as they'll grow in size as well. But we can see here that we're getting overlapping wave structures here. We're getting, these lows here overlapping previous highs here and so on. So it's in the sort of later stages of its trend here. Now, this particular market's a little bit tricky to get the top here up, but we're probably looking at a wave C here and then a wave 5 here. And what this will look like in the bigger picture here is the classic trading levels pattern here. So across the level here at the moment, we've got in this stock here, so the 500 here, we can see that we've got the arrival and the reaction here. So we're still looking for the first high above the level, and then we'll see an ABC correction here. So this is basically the pattern here. So the arrival, the reaction. So we're looking for, so we're still looking for the first high above the level, which is always pretty much the same. It's wave 3, 4, and 5 here. ABC correction that can come lower here, by the way. But in a nutshell, we trade to this point, we get out, and we get back in over here. Short-term trades can take advantage of wave 5 here, of course, but this is the basic pattern here that we're looking at here. So with that, we've got the arrival, we've got the reaction here, and it may not have finished. We may get one more here, or it can just push straight up from here. So we'll take a look at that in a moment, but the play here would be, once wave 5 is in, we would see an ABC correction here, and then we'll see the next move up here. So all of this here then becomes wave 1, back for wave 2, and then up for wave 3. That's what we're sort of considering. But as always, we need to go step by step. So we need to, get this correction in play. We also need to confirm the first trend up here for this as well. So as a portfolio trade, this is really the place that we need to be in here for portfolio trades. But in the meantime, we will be just doing normal trades, which we can take advantage of in here. So on the 4-hour chart here, the correction, there's a good chance that wave 3 may be sitting over here as well, which would make this the A, the B, and the C wave here, then up for 1 and back for 2, and then up for 3 here, and back for 4, and then up for 5 here. So in that case here, we can see from the high to the low here, we're at the 61.8%. We could look at this as an A and a B and a C wave to here. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 finished here. So any move above here we can go long anyway, because that way it would be the count would be wrong, but we'd be making money anyway from that point. So yeah, the target up here would be at this stage to the 530 area, possibly go higher than that as well, but steady as she goes. So yeah, let's just see how this plays out. Let's move along to the next. So Twilio here is on a weekly chart, so it's getting in all the data that I have on this, so I haven't labelled the weekly charts yet, but so there's a good possibility that we can have wave 3, 4 and 5 up through to here. It's also possible too is that this is just wave 1 here, and we're looking back, well, once it finishes, all of this is wave 1 and back for wave 2 and then further to the upside. But as always, you know, the bigger picture is really never a problem as such, because, you know, all we're really doing is trading between one large number to the next large number. That's our job. So the rest of it doesn't really matter that much as such, but it's just good to look at. And sometimes if it's clear, we can nail it down. In this instance here, I was looking at this as 1 and 2 here. And then all of this, the third wave up here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 here and 4 here, and then up for 5 to this point, which would leave this an ABC pattern here for this. So because the extension's in wave 3, it doesn't really leave wave 1 and wave 5 to do much. So, but in saying that, it would take us up to 300 here. So that would be the next level there, and that's fine. So trading from 250 to 500 here would be to 300 is what we'd be looking at. So we've got a nice, what we've got here is a correction, and it's in 3 waves. Yes, it can get bigger and uglier and drop further and do all sorts of things, but as it stands, it does stop as an ABC correction and can push higher from that point. The safe trade would be trading long on the 250 as support, as a classic trading levels pattern on support, and on the 4-hour chart here we can look at it like this here. So wave 3 and A, wave B and wave C here. The wave C, I would have preferred to see it on more of an angle, you know, compared to wave A here. It's rather sharp here, so it kind of got that bearish connotation to it as well. So I think what we do here is that so far we've only got 3 waves up here, so we'd need to look at 5 waves here. So let's just you know, one way or another, we're looking for support. So if that's 1 and 2 and 3 here, then wave 5 will probably just come up here and then pull back from that point. So you can go long at that point. Or the safe trade would be, I'll just put that here. The safe trade would be seeing this market sit on top here. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, it'll be part of a different structure, but and going long from there, that's the safe trade. But all in all, if this is corrective, then we need to take out that top there. So this will move up in line with you know, all the other tech stocks as such. So there we go. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this particular stock here is from our old list when we first started doing the US stocks. So TWOU is an educational technology company that gains contracts with non-profit colleges and universities to offer online degrees and programs. So I can only see this expanding because as their platform becomes more popular, it will take on all sorts of education universities. So it's a real change. It's, you know, I mean, we are herd animals. It's good to be together at a college and so on, but we don't need to be there every day. It's just not cost effective, you know, and that will play out in time. So as this plays out here, I think it's pretty straightforward in that we've got wave 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for third wave. The fourth wave pulls back to the fourth wave of 1 lesser degree. So that's all okay here. One of the things that bugs me a little bit here is wave A is cool, this is cool here, pulled back up to the 61.8% roughly. I'm not really seeing 5 waves in wave C here. But just for a moment, if it is correct and will push up with the other markets, then our target is above the old high here. So the $50, so from 30 to 50, that's a nice space to collect on. So let's just have a little look at this here. So as I mentioned here, I try to pull this apart. It's just not very clear here. So it's, you know, I mean, it'd be nice if we can get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for that. But I just don't know if that's the case. But what I was thinking is that if this does interest you, then we need the closest, largest. We can see that the 35 was support here, and then it's dropped through that. It's checking it as resistance. So by all means, it can fail and move down here. But if it reacts from here and then has the first high above the level and offers a little, you know, that kind of thing here, the little pattern here, our little favorite pattern, then we can build in the first trade from that point. And then we can look to add on top of 40 here. Okay, so if that occurs, that's where that's at there at the moment. So we'll leave that. But just be noted that I'm unsure of this particular pattern here. I don't know if it's 1 and 2, we get 3 here and 4 here, and then down for 5 here in this case. That's what I'm a little bit unsure about at this stage. Okay, let's move on. This is also one of our old stocks, TWST Bioscience, manufactures synthetic DNA for biotechnology industry. So obviously it's a powerful stock and certainly trends well. And it is currently, if I'm just double checking here, so the wave 1 and 2 here, if we consider all of this the third wave here, then the fourth wave can actually pull back lower here at $55 roughly, or the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So there's a couple of issues in here. Is that this can be a top here where we have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and we're finished here. We can also have this completed at this point here as well. So it is possible for this market to pull down to that 38.2% mark here. That's possible. It's also possible that this move up here, if we move in on this now, but just to let you know that the target is 80 at this point, and we'll just go to the 4-hour chart here. It's just, all this is a little bit complicated. I'm not getting I can count 5 waves to this structure here. It's just not that crash hot in terms of 1 and 2 in here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here. It's just not a good look as such. But yeah, so you could probably, it's just not heavily traded enough to give us a really nice smooth Elliott count, in fact. But we do have this as the top, so normally would go long above here. We can drop that down to this high here. I don't know if this is up for 1 and back for 2, and then we're going to go heading higher from that point, or we come down towards that 55 mark here, well, 54 something or other, you know, and then move up from there. So I don't know if we just come down here somewhat and then move up into this space, or we do this. I'm not sure at that point, but in fact, we don't even need that there now. I can just take that up there to 80. So you should be able to get a better position than this high here. So look for the second high on this, which will bring us in about here somewhere for that. Okay, let's move on to the next stock. UltraClean is a semiconductor manufacturing company, but it specializes in certain industries, let's say. Now, at this point here, we can see that this is all the data I have on it here. We can see, though, it's starting to come alive, though, in that you know, we're getting these big sort of upswings. So basically, you know, it is waking up as such. It's a little bit difficult to count, so we'll just need to find setups where we can with this at the moment. So yeah, the takeaway here is that this beast is waking up, and it's in the early stages of the building process of a trend. So I can see it's got a lot more to go. Second is that I'm a little bit unsure of the count. So that means that we acknowledge that, but at the same time we look for setups. So this is the weekly chart here. So as we go to the daily chart, I have started to work on it a little bit, but it doesn't hold a lot of interest for me at this point, because obviously it's moving down. And I can count here as, I mean, this could be counted in different ways here. This could be counted as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. Or it could be counted as an A wave, a B wave, and then a C wave of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, another little move down into this space here. So we're not interested in shorting it at this stage. So yeah, I've got different counts on here. It just doesn't interest me just yet at this stage. So I'll pass on it, but I can see that the beast is waking up. So I just want to keep tabs on it at this point. Let's move on to the last stock. Okay, so United Parcel Services obviously has benefited from the COVID situation. Also a really nice setup here in terms of the classic trading levels pattern at 100, 1 being the strongest number in the market. Now, yes, it's a delivery service, but there's a lot of other things happening with this particular company as well. They are looking at, well, 3D printers, for instance, you know, having printers at certain locations. So when somebody purchases something, they don't have to move it to a particular place. They can just print it from that point and then deliver it from that point. So they are, there's a lot of, you know, they're bringing technology into their business, so that sets them up for riding the next cycle as such in their industry. So that's why they're on this list here. The wave count. Let's move into, this is the monthly chart here. That's the weekly. So with trends, you know, like I say, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. So we can say that this is wave 1 here and wave 1 in here as well. So this is classed as the beginning. This is classed as the middle here. And then this will be classed as the ending structure. You know, this is really sort of simple what I'm going to say next, but it takes a lot of people to get it. You know, like when you go to buy a car or a suit, you look at it and you look at the price and you go, yeah, that's what I want, and here's the money, and that's what, and you get what you want. That doesn't happen in the market. You get pretty much the opposite of what you're looking at. So, you know, folks that come into this market here, they look at this and they think this is what they're going to get here. I mean, if this wasn't here for a moment, this is why corrections are really good. This is a corrective pattern, so an accumulation pattern, and this is the distribution pattern. So in really simple terms, what we should be looking for is corrections. And the more that you look for corrections, the more that you're going to understand corrections, and that's where the next trend is engineered from. So, you know, understanding where you are in the market, the beginning, the middle, and the end. And what you see is not what you get. You get the opposite of what you're going to get. So we're in the ending process. So the ending process is a little bit like the beginning process here. You could probably just flip this on its head here, and then you'll get your, you know, this is some sort of correction that may be finished or may not be finished, and so on. So you get this particular pattern here. You flip that over to here as such. Anyway, enough waffling, sorry about that. So from the low here on the daily chart, we've got 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 and 3 here, and 4 here is really messy. I can't, and it doesn't really bother me at this stage. I'm not that interested in it because it's at a point where You know, do we buy it? Do we sell it? That's what everybody's basically thinking here. That's what the pattern is. So it could just move up from here, or it could just drop from here and move up. I hope it drops from here, because then it gives us a chance to take a closer look at this here. But there's still further upside here, and you can see how you know, all of this looks, well, that looks impulsive here. I don't know about the spike here, if I should include that or shouldn't include that. There's a lot sort of going on here, but I'm just not happy with it, so I don't have anything yet for it. But definitely a portfolio stock. Yeah, so just not tradable at this particular point in time. Look, if it took the 65 out, then you can go long from that point, because then it's basically moving into group 2. So group 2, 65, 72 and 80. And if it can climb in there and get a little bit of support on 65 and hang in there, then it'll get up into the 70s here and then continue up from that point. So if you see 65 as support and you like this stock, well, then there you go. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Cheers.